Alright guys, welcome back. So for today we're going to be doing the Chapter 11 review game. This is out on the Quizlet.com website, and then you're going to go ahead and actually do some of the problems yourself. I'm going to go ahead and just do a few of them just so that you have an idea of what it is that we would have been doing, and then how to do these in class. So the very first one is find the volume of this tank with the following dimensions. So it's 777. Remember the volume. It's either length times width times height, or you can do the base times the height. And so that's going to be 7 times 7 times 7, which is 43. And then you check your answer, and you are correct. Okay? If you didn't, then you would go back and you try to solve this one first before you move on to the next one. So then for this one, it says again, find the volume of this prism. And so you have, so now you're going to have to be looking at different, so here they're giving you the apothem of this triangle. So we have the height here, the length here. So we would be able to find the base here. Actually, yeah, so then we would go ahead and actually multiply this times this, and then we need to be able to figure out what this side is. Okay, so this is where your trig ratios would be coming in handy. So you'd have to use a trig ratio to figure out what this side is, and then obviously then you'd be able to go ahead and multiply this times that side. Okay, so then we move on to the next one. Finding the volume. Again, we're going to be multiplying all these three sides together, and then just to do it really quickly, I would be multiplying 16 times 24 times 14, and I get 5376, and that is correct. Now, one thing that I wish I could have incorporated, or the set could have incorporated itself actually, was the units. Here they only wrote 5376, but technically that would be incorrect because you did not tell me what units you're using. So in the test or in the quiz, then that would be partially, you would for the number itself you would get it partially correct. But if you did not use the correct units of measurement, then that would be half of the answer that you answered correctly. So you need to make sure that you would have said 5376 cubic inches. Again, because we're working with volume here, then it's cubic. Okay, so then we move on to the next one. It says find the volume here. So again, it's base times height. So it's the base here. They're giving me the height of this. So that means you'd be multiplying all these sides. And oops, sorry. Let's see. Yeah, sometimes when you click on it, it will go back to the answer. But anyway, so here you have to actually be very careful because it's the base here is 4 times 8, which is 32. And then you want to multiply this by this part here. So the apothem here is 6, but we're actually interested in this part right over here. So you'd have to be using the trig ratios to figure that part out. Okay, so some of these are going to be a little bit tricky, but I think that you guys would all be okay, especially with if you have followed up with the videos and the PowerPoints that I've done so far. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and find the volume here. So they give us this portion, and then that means we would have to figure out so from here, so it'd be here, here, and here is what we would try and find. So this part as well. So again, a lot of these you're going to be using the trig ratios or the Pythagorean theorem, and just use what you have to your advantage. Okay. All right. So this part, this one's actually a bit easier because they give you all the correct dimensions here. So we would be multiplying everything together. So if we were to do it the way we've been learning it in the textbook, which is the base times the height, it would be, this is the base, so it would be 120 times 60, which is 7,200 times the height, which is 60, so it's 432,000. Okay. And then just a quick note on this one, the correct units would be, since it is centimeters and we are talking about volume, it would be cubic centimeters. Okay, so now for this one, they're asking us to find the volume of this entire thing. And so they give us that this portion here is, this is 4, and this is 6, and this is 4.5 right here. So you would go ahead and multiply all these out to find the what are they looking for, to find the volume. Okay. They give you that. Okay, same thing here. We're going to be looking at this prism and do the same thing. So they're giving you this, and now we need to find this portion here. Careful with just assuming that what they're giving you is going to give you the volume. Here, if you look, let me zoom in. If you look carefully, this arrow is pointing to the center of the triangle, so it's technically the apothem here. And we're not multiplying the apothem with everything else. It's really all of these sides that get multiplied to get to the volume. So again, you'd be using trig ratios and solving for x in this case. Okay. Also, one thing that I did forget to mention is also the central angle. Now, obviously this is 5, so you need to find the central angle, which is 360 divided by 3 in this case, which is 360 divided by 3, 120. But then that's the entire central angle, so if you're only looking at half of it, then half of 120 is 60. So you have to, there are going to be problems like these where it's going to be a little bit more work. Okay. Here, same thing. Now in this case, I actually made it a little bit easier since it gave you all the correct dimensions that you need in order to find the volume. So you would go ahead and multiply everything because it gave you the length, the width, and the height. So if this is 12 times 2 would be 24. Oops. Okay. So in this one, it says the radius of a cylinder is 4 inches long and its height is 8 inches. What is the volume of the cylinder? So we would be using the pi r squared h formula for this. Okay. And then they give you the answer right there for 1.92. For the next one, the radius of a cylinder is 3 centimeters and the height is 5 centimeters. What is the volume of that cylinder? Same thing. Okay, and then here the radius of a cylinder is 12 yards and its 3D height is 8 yards. What is the volume of that cylinder? Again, we'd be using the pi r squared h formula for this one. And finally, we have the radius of a cylinder is 9.5 inches and its 3D height is 10 inches. What is the volume of that cylinder? So you'd go ahead and do the same thing and just simply plug in the numbers for your variables. So this was the very first part of the Chapter 11 review, guys. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you another review game that I would have had you do, which actually would be in Kahoot this time. So I will see you guys next time.